discuss about, particularly I'm talking
This
about
call is
linear
now
data
being
structures.
recorded.
That linear data structure is what stack, and but before that, let us slightly revise the things of yesterday's concept, that is asymptotic notation particularly. So we have seen that there are three different types of asymptotic notations. We have big O notation is there, big omega is there, and theta is there. So these are the three notations. We use them for asymptotic analysis. So what we learned about big O notation is, suppose if I take two functions called f of n and g of n. So I am taking two no functions. Other one is g of n, and they defined, these two functions are defined in positive integers. Okay, so that means the domain of these two is positive integers. Then we say that f of n is big O of g of n. We say that f of n is big O of g of n only, or the if and if only there exists a constant c and n naught, two constants I'm taking, c and n naught, such that the f of n is less than or equal to some constant time. C and n naught, I told you they are constants. So C means constant times of g of n. If this condition is holding for all n greater than or equal to n naught, then we say f of n is big O of g of n. So the other way, this g of n will become the upper bound for the f of n. Okay, and the other way we can say that when n or sorry extends, or when n approaches to infinite, or n when it is very big, then we say f of n is equal to big O of g of n. So that graphically we can define this one. Understanding this one is very important. Your main asymptotic analysis, we are doing it on the function f of n. And this f of n, when n increases, the input size n when it increases are very big, then f of n can take at most g of n, c times of g of n value. See the graph in the middle. And this particular condition true for some value n greater than n naught, greater than or equal to n naught. That means after n naught, when n increases very, or when n takes very big value, then in that case f of n take at most g of n value, and it is written as big O of g of n. This is what about the big O notation. Whereas on the other hand, big omega is lower bound. So the other way, the big O notation, we can say it indicates about upper bound. At most, how much value that f of n is going to take or approach to. At most, f of n approaches to which value? At most, the word we use. That is denoted by big of. Whereas on the other hand, the big omega denotes about at least value. When n is greater than or equal to n naught, some for some n naught value, and when n approaches or n takes a bigger value, then f of n takes at least g of n, c times of g of n value. So thus, if it is the case, then we say f of n is big omega of g of n. We write the notation as f of n is equal to big omega of g of n. So this g of n here in this case will become lower bound. And the third one is big theta. This also after some n is equal to n greater than or equal to n naught value. This time that f of n lies between c times of g of n and c2 times of c1 times of g of n and c2 times of g of n. So here lies between case, between the two inter or the values, when f of n lies, then in that case f of n approaches to big theta of g of n, we say. So this was the theta notation. So that the same three, we can say that I mean some authors they refer that the big O is nothing but the worst case, big omega is nothing but the best case, and here the big theta is nothing but the average case analysis. Okay, so that we can refer it. So this is what about that we revised it, and today's class we are going to discuss about the stacks data structure. So can anybody define what is stacks, sir? Because it's very commonly used data structure. So what is stack, Amma? Anyone?
It's a
Yes,
data
Amma.
structure where we'll insert at the last in first out, LIFO.
Fine. Okay. But what is the which type of data structure? Because in the data structure class we defined that Basically, we go for what's two types of data structures. One we call as linear data structures, other types of
Linear.
data structures. Yeah. So
Linear.
therefore,
It
yes,
is
sir,
linear,
fine.
sir.
It is linear. Stack is a linear data structure where the insertion deletions, the two operations, common operations called insertions or deletions, are performed at only one end. I repeat, stack is a linear data structure where the insertion and deletion operations are performed at only one end, and that one end is called as stop. Okay, so this was the basic definition of a stack. So from this definition, clearly observe that if you want, I will stress the definition again. Is a data structure where the insertion and deletion, the two operations called inserting an element and deleting an element, are performed at only one end. That means the other end is completely packed. We cannot do any operations on the other end. So we take only one end, and from that same end, if you we perform all the operations, whether they may be of insertion operations or they may be of deletion operations. So this is what about the definition of stack. And when we do like this, when we adopt this particular definition to perform the operations, we will find a concept called as last in first out principle. So that means the objects which are inserted in the last, the object which is inserted in the start, okay, in the last is the element which will be deleted. So that's why it is also called as last in first out principle based data structure, LIFO structure. Okay, that is the element which is placed in the last is, okay, deleted first or accessed first. Okay, sir. So the other name for the stack is last in first out list, LIFO list. Okay, and this name called stack is derived from the metaphor of a stack of plates in cafeteria plate dispenser. That means if you see in the hotel, I remember that when I was in student, I used to take my dinner as well as lunch in Kamath Hotel, Koti. So there, the servers, what they do, when I ask for lunch, they used to bring the plates, and the plates are kept on the hand, one on the top of the other. So when he removes the plate, he cannot remove the middle plate or the bottom plate. He has to remove the top plate only. If he tries to remove, if the waiter tries to remove any middle or the bottom or any intermediate plate, then all the plates will be fallen. So that's why that principle is what adopted or generally we find. And from that only the concept called stack is what derived. Okay. So this is what about the stack related. And coming to the applications, we are interested in applications because so if you remember that these are the algorithms or the applications where we commonly use the data structure called stack. So one of them is recursions. To implement the recursive algorithms, the best way is to go for what's a stacks. Okay, one of them is tower of an eye, can be easily implemented by using recursion. Since we are using recursion, therefore it's better you use the stack as a data structure. Similarly, tree traversals. You know what are the tree traversals? Hey, CSC and IT students, do you remember that binary tree or any tree traversals? Any tree traversal? What are the tree traversals?
breadth first search and
Okay,
depth.
BFS.
breadth first and depth first are graph search algorithms. I'm talking about particularly the binary. Say, assume that binary tree are taken. So I'm
In order,
interested in binary tree traversal. Yeah.
in
Come. Very good, Amaswati. In order, pre-order, and post-order. And there is one more also called level order. So these particular traversals, to implement them, okay, we can implement by using recursion or nothing but the stack we can use. Second one is a depth first search. If you remember that depth first again can be implemented purely by using recursion, or we can even implement it by taking what's a stack also. So that's what the depth first search algorithm where we use, in which we use the stack. Then expression conversion. Are you familiar about expression conversion, Amma? So if you're not, let me tell you that infix to prefix, prefix to postfix, or one form to the other form. So that mathematical expressions when we write, so commonly we use what's the infix notation. But when they are implemented internally, the compiler will convert that infix notation either into prefix or postfix, depends upon the model which that particular compiler is implemented. And once if it is converted into prefix or postfix form, that will be evaluated. So that conversion, for the conversion purpose, that infix to prefix form or prefix to postfix, any type of conversion, we take again stack, okay, to convert. And nevertheless, one more application I have included here called internet web browsers. They store the addresses of recently visited sites on a stack. So if you observe that one, see history, if you check that history, in that history you will find what are the web pages that you have visited. That web pages will be prepared in a form of a stack, one on the other. So recently visited, you will find them on the top. Okay, sir. So that's what about internet web browsing also will be implemented by using stack. And then one more also I remember that what do you say, when we talk about the parameter processing, particularly call by value. So when you are when or any call by value or reference, when we pass the arguments, the actual arguments are pushed into the stack. So there internally stack will be maintained, and within that stack, all the arguments from right to left. In C language, generally the compiler is implemented where the parameters are pushed into the stack from right to left. So there also we use stack. So likewise, there are so many applications are there where we use the data structure called stack. So what is the abstract data type? I told you that we have to discuss first of all abstract data type, and implementation of abstract data type is nothing but the methods which we have to discuss. So the stack ADT, abstract data type, contains mainly two methods only. The two commonly performed methods on stack are called as push as well as pop. This is what the names commonly we find. If you talk about stacks and queues, and any author, when he or she is explaining about the stack, they use these two names for insertion as well as deletion of the objects. The push O is a parameter or nothing but the object which we are inserting into the stack. Okay, and that insertion will be made at the top, remember. And coming to the pop is nothing but removing an object from the top of the stack. Okay, so this is what about from the top side only. So we are denoting the top, the side as a top here. We are naming the side from which we perform all the operations. That particular side we are calling it as a top, and push O is nothing but pushing the object O at the top of the stack, and pop is nothing but removing the object O from the top of the stack. So these are the two commonly performed operations, are the main operations of the stack. But while performing these two operations, we try to take the support of some auxiliary operations or auxiliary methods also. So that additional auxiliary methods, what are they means? One is size amma. All these are methods amma. Methods are nothing but algorithms. So to implement the stack, these are the commonly used operations that we are methods or algorithms generally we talk. So the additional algorithms which we find in order to perform the major operations push and pop are, one is size. So whenever we call size, the size method always returns the number of objects in the stack. How many are there? Suppose if the stack contains 10, and when you call that method called size, it returns 10. And is empty always tells about whether the stack is empty or not. So thus we can say that is empty is a Boolean method. Means it always returns either true or false. And it indicates if really the stack is empty, if no element is present in the stack, then in that case, it returns always true. Otherwise, it returns false. That means if the stack contains at least one element, then in that case, we all know it is not empty. Therefore, in such a situation, it returns false value because stack is not empty. And come to the top is also one of the methods where it always returns the top element if it present in the stack, if it is not empty. If the stack is empty, then whatever the element at the top position is there, that element will be returned when we call the method called top. So these are additional methods whose support we take to implement the main methods called push and pop. Right, Amma? So this is what ADT, abstract data type for the data structure called stack. And this stack, since it is a linear data structure, can be implemented by taking by considering two important methods. Either array method you can use or linked list. Either by taking the arrays we can implement the stack, or we can even take the linked list to implement the stacks. So this is what about the implementation part of the data structure. So graphically we can imagine like this. If this is my stack, stack, the bottom end is closed. Observe that the bottom side is closed, like as a box I have drawn here, and within the box data element one upon the other we have, and see that the box other side is completely closed and we have only one side, and from that side only we push, okay, the element and we pop the element. So that's what about the graph. We perform the operations, and when we are performing various operations, particularly push and pop, how the stack grows and sinks. So this is what about the stack basics. Now, as I told you that array can be implemented, the stacks can be implemented by taking arrays as well as linked lists. So here we are discussing about array implementation, simple array particularly, and not dynamic array, static array. So here we are discussing about the static array implementation of stack, the other way we can say. The linked list version of stack implementation, we can only discuss when we know about what do you mean by linked list. So after completion of stacks as well as queues and their respective few applications, we'll jump towards the linked list. So there, after converting the linked list concept, there again we come back for implementation of this stack as well as queue using linked list. So let us go for the simple array-based implementation of stack. So to implement that using arrays, first of all, the size of the array has to be declared, and that size indicates the number of elements that we can store into that array. So that array, if I name it as S, stands for stack, then S0 to ST, where T is an integer that gives the index of the top element of S. So from S0 to ST, we go on push the elements, and what are the element at the Tth location we have, that itself is the top element in the stack called S. And see the size of the n, as I told you already, to be declared in the beginning only, because we are talking about the what's it, static arrays implementation. Then with the convention of array that always starts with the 0, we already learned that our arrays which we are talking, which we use in our algorithms, whose index always starts 0. So if it's the case, then initially when the stack, or when the first time we have implemented the stack and we haven't inserted any elements, in that case the initialization where top, the pointer T we take, which denotes about the position of the top element, and initially the T we take it as -1. In some authors take it as 0, don't get confused, but most of them they take it as -1. So at the initial stage we take T as -1, and whenever T holding -1, I repeat, whenever T is a pointer which points to the top element, and if this T holding -1, then we say that stack is empty. So it is a indication of emptiness of a stack here. So, and otherwise we can use the variable to determine the number of elements in the stack. So the same T can also be used to perform the other types of operations. So if I want to know that how many elements are there, means just say what's a T plus 1. So that is enough to find out the number of elements, how many are there in the stack. Then the other implementation of stack is both simple and efficient, but it is having some negative aspect. So when we implement the stack by using arrays, there is a limitation, or the negative aspect is there behind this implementation. What it is means, an application may actually need much less space than n. So here, since we are talking about static array whose size has to be declared in the advance, assume that you have declared and you have decided that you want to take a stack of size 100, but later you came to know that there were 10 elements only to insert. In that case, remaining 90 elements you are wasting. So this is what about the space excess space you are having here. Similarly, alternately in application, we need more space. So assume that you have declared 100, but you want to store 110 elements. Your stack holding 110 elements which you want to insert, but without knowing that you have already declared the size of the array is 100 only. So that means remaining 10 elements we cannot store it in the array. So this is what the overflow we can say. In this case, the crash which occurs. So that means what that again the error message will come out that stack is full, and you cannot insert the remaining 10 which are there in the hand. So these are the problems which we face generally when we talk about what's the simple array based implementation of stack here. So, those who are getting confused, I'll go for diagrammatic what's explanation of the stack here. Say for example, this is my stack here, and no elements are there. This is what A here, and this is 0th location. This is the location 1. And suppose if I extend the array, this is location 1, this is location 2, and say this is location 3. Then that means we can store 4 elements in the stack. So the size of the array is 4. So now, since no elements are inserted, so we take a pointer called tr top. You can call it as top or you can call it as t, and initially we take it as -1. So this is what about the initial stage of array, and generally such type of data structures, if we implement them by using object oriented concepts, like in a full-fledged way, in a neat way, we can explain every aspect of this particular data structure, not only this, any data. So, but since we are implementing them by using C, most of them, so since we learn C only, so how we have to implement, how that we'll discuss it later. So this was the initial stage of a stack. Then comes the operations. We know what we do, we perform the operations called push and pop, major operations. Apart from that, auxiliary operations or additional operations, like checking whether the stack is empty or not, or expecting, or want to know the position of the top element, and want to know the size of the stack. All this, if you want to perform, we can perform through additional operations. So let us come back here. Suppose I have 10 elements here to insert, but we already declared that size of my array is how much, 4 only, because hardly we can insert 4 elements. In this case, additional 6 elements we cannot insert. Similarly, suppose the underflow, you have declared an array of 100 size, but you are storing only 4 or 10 elements here hardly. The remaining 90 elements space you are wasting it. So these are the problems. Generally, we use it for the static arrays. So let us go for the implementation of each method here. So I'm taking the first one called push operation. So in the push operation, you see, we are passing O here. O, don't get confused. The parameter O indicates about the object here. So we have passed the object O, which has to be inserted or pushed into the stack. Now, assume that n is something called 10 or 5. Assume that n is 5 here, uppercase n is 5. So what we do, we call the method called size, which returns what, sir? What is the size here? The operation size indicates what? It returns the number of objects in the stack. So if the size is equal to n, then we know that the stack is what, sir? Full. The stack is full. So there we cannot insert any more elements. We cannot insert any more objects. In that case, we simply send the message saying that the stack is full. An exception we pass stating that stack is full. So otherwise, what we do, we increment the pointer, top pointer, by 1, and then wherever t is pointing or top is pointing, there in that location we insert the object. So that means successful attempt. If that uppercase is not encountered, then Obviously we increment the top pointer, and then at the location of the top we insert the object. So this is what the algorithm of inserting an object into the stack. So here, let me come back here. So I want to say insert an element called what's it, 10. I want to insert say 10 or 5. Say 5 is an element I want to insert to the stack. So what do you do before that? What is size here? Method called size we call. So when we call the size, it returns the number of elements. So initially our stack is empty. We don't have any elements. So this here size is 0, and this we are comparing with n. So what is n in my case? N is 4 here. Already I told you that n is 4. So thus we compare with n, which is 4, and both are not equal. Therefore we directly get into incrementation of the top. So what we do, we increment the top with by 1. So top currently -1, and we are adding that to 1. So resultant is 0. So that means top is now moved to 0th location. Top is moved now to the 0th location. Here is. So top is pointing to this location. And in this location, what we do, that element wherever top position, what are the object we have passed, my object is here, I have decided to store 5. So we are storing that 5 at the top location of the array A. So top location is 0. So at the A of 0 we store 5. So we go to the 0th location and we store 5 here. That's all. And then once again, if you suppose want to store 15 as an element into the stack, so again we check. But before that, since top is incremented, the size always returns number of elements. So since we are pushing 15, so again we compare size method with whatever the return value of size is there, method size is there, that we compare with n. So size method returns 1 here because currently the stack is holding 1, and that we compare it with the n. N is 4, again not equal. So what we do, we increment the top by 1. So current top value is 0 plus 1, resultant is 1, and at the A of 1th location we store 50. So that means now slowly pointer is pointing to this one location 1, and in this location 1 we store 50. So likewise we go on to the operations. So once if all the elements are stored, then the top, size returns 4, and the top also n is also 4. When both are equal, there we simply return a exception stating that stack is full. So the message always you will get whenever size value is equal to n. I repeat, size returns the number of elements. Size always, method size always returns the number of elements which are present in the stack, and that number of elements, if it is equal to the size of the stack, then we cannot insert any more elements. As a result, we always get an exception stating that stack is full. So this is what about the push operation, right? Now, what is the complexity of this push operation? The answer for me is pico of 1. How it is? Let us see one by one operation. First of all, you observe this in the algorithm, nowhere we are using any loop. So all are straightforward primitive operations. So let us calculate that number of primitive operations which are required to execute the algorithm called push. So I have taken the first statement stating that size is equal to n. Can anybody tell me how many primitive operations you require? Of course, answer is there in front of you. Maybe it is visible for you, but don't see. Without seeing that, tell me how can you count the number of primitive operations in the statement called size is equal to n?
For method call, one operation, and for comparison, another.
Excellent. Very nice, Amma, because I was expecting that answer only. Since I didn't explain that how the primitive operation reaches to 2. So your explanation is absolutely right. Size itself is a method, Amma. And I told you the method call always equal to 1 primitive operation. So size, when we are calling, it is equal to 1 primitive operation. And that value which is returned by side method, we are comparing with n. So comparison is another primitive operation. So that means in this statement, there are 2 primitive operations we have. So thus, this total statement contributes 2 primitive operations. Then within this, if it is true, then how much అమ్మా రిటర్న్ స్టాక్ ఫుల్ అనేది వస్తుంది, అవునా కదా? Okay, so in this case, tell me how many primitive operations are there? Only one primitive, because the return statement always we assume that it is equal to one primitive operation. So this is the case which occurs when n is equal to what, sir? I mean when the size is equal to n. So otherwise what will happen? We will go to the t is equal to t plus 1. So how many primitive operations here we have, sir?
2, sir. Assignment and arithmetic operation.
Yes, arithmetic, that is t plus 1 we are adding, therefore it is one primitive operation, and then added result whatever that we got we are assigning to t back. So therefore assignment is one more primitive. So there are two primitive operations in this. Then s of t is assigned with object o. How many are there in this here?
2, sir. Indexing and assignment.
Excellent, Amma. Array indexing we are doing, teeth location we have to catch. We have to catch a teeth location, and once if we catch the address of the teeth location, we go there into that particular to that particular address, and there in that address we push the object called o. So pushing is nothing but assignment. So there are two are there. Array indexing is there and then assignment is there. So therefore here also it takes two primitive. So the total is wrong, Amma, here is actually, because no, if condition is true, then it won't come to t is equal to t plus 1 and s of t is equal to 0. Is rane ravu ee rendu operations perform kavu if condition is true. So when condition is true, then the number of primitive operations, how many you will find? Sorry, Amma. Yes, Amma, if the condition is true, how many?
3, sir.
The condition 3 only, because return statement is 1, function call called size of a function call okati, comparing with n is okati. So therefore when this occurs, actually it is 3. So minimum 3, total is minimum operations are 3, min is 3, and maximum operations how many, Amma? Primitive operations
6, sir.
good. Only return statement encounter kaadu, you'll find 6 primitive operations. Why? Because size method comparing with n, this has to take place, and assume that this time it is false, but we come to know it is false only after comparing size method with n. So comparison and function call are two primitive operations there we have in an if condition, and if it is false, then only t is equal to t plus 1 and s of t is equal to 0, the two more operations will perform. So the two operations already 2 plus 2 means 4 plus the 2 comparison with n, so total 6. Your maximum are how many? 6 number of primitive operations it will take, not exactly 7, which is wrong. And here 3 and 6 both are what's up? Both are constant. So therefore we can say that how much, Amma? How much, Amma? Constant time only. The running time is constant time. So big O of 1 we can say. So that entire algorithm called push algorithm, pushing an object into the stack, can be simply implemented in a big O of 1. And a constant time we can implement it. It won't take much time. The fastest algorithm we can say. An algorithm is said to be fastest among all other if its time complexity is big O of 1. So let me see that how it is big O of 1. My f of n when I have calculated, I got it as something called 3 or 6. I'm considering say 6 here. Now how can I convert this into big O notation? Means now I can write that 6 is less than or equal to some 7 times of 1. Agree, Amma? Where 6 is f of n, which is less than or equal to 7 times of, assume that this one is my g of n. So exactly I'm matching with these two definitions versus the condition. We all know 6 is less than 7. Am I right? Agree? Yes, Amma?
Yes, sir.
Now beside that 7, 6 is less than or equal to 7 is everybody knows, and 6 less than or equal to, beside this 7 I can write 1. But already 6 is f of n is less than or equal to 7 times of, assume that 1 is something called g of n. So thus we are having a first definition. If f and g are the functions, okay, defined on the positive integers, and if c comma n naught are two constants, when f of n is less than or equal to c times of g of n, then we say f of n is big O of g of n. So what is big O? G of n in my case, Amma? If I compare these two, what is g of
First
n?
case.
It is 1. And yes, 1, Amma. And what is constant c here? Can I take 7? Yes or no?
7.
7. Because exactly I'm able to, Amma, this I'm exactly able to write in the form of the definition. Thus, this is equivalent to f of n is less than or equal to 7 times of g of n form వచ్చిందా లేదా? So what is g of n? C is 7, g of n is 1, and f of n we know it is already 6 here. So thus we able to write in the form. Therefore, for this function, the big O notation is, that means f of n, okay, is asymptotically approaches to big O of g of n. What is g of n? 1. And this was that how we are writing it. Finally, we conclude that the running time of push operation is big O of 1. And this is what graphically I am explaining. Already we know that is a very simple data structure, amma. But చాలా మటుకు చాలా మంది కన్ఫ్యూజ్ అయ్యేటట్టుగా చాలా క్వశ్చన్స్ అడగచ్చు. We'll discuss that tomorrow after discussing queues. Okay. So anyhow, this is what about the push operation and the graphical representation of push here. So already in the stack 23 is at the bottom, and above that we have 93. So top is pointing to 93, and we have decided to push the element called 10 into the stack. So as a result, what we do, first we have to increment the top. Okay, since it is not equal to size, so we have a space. So in that space we can insert the element 10. So what we do for that, first of all we have to increment the top. So top reaches to the next empty location, and in that empty location we push 10. So this is what about the way that how graphically we can imagine. Then the second major operation is pop amma. So we know that pop is nothing but deleting an element from the stack, and an element can be deleted from the stack only if the stack is having at least one element. If the stack is having no elements, then what you are going to pop, what you are going to delete, because pop is nothing but delete. So therefore, first of all, when we are calling the pop operation, we have to verify whether the stack is empty or not. If it is empty, we cannot delete, we cannot pop. Otherwise, we can pop. So what we do, we check again a Boolean condition. If E is empty, then return stack empty. So E is empty is a Boolean method which returns true if the empty is, if the stack is really empty, otherwise it returns false. So E is empty. Upon verifying, if it returns true, then if that method returns true, then an exception we throw stating that stack is empty, no element is there to delete. If this is not the case, if it is not empty, then what we do, we go to that the remaining elements. In the remaining elements s of t, we assign to some temporary variable e, and that the tth location of the stack we store it with null. After storing with null, then what we do, we decrement the t value, and then finally we return. Okay, now all of you. So this is what about the pop operation. Means it goes like this. Say we have the stack, yes, looks like this here, and top is say pointing to 3. Now when I'm asking about pop, so the top element should pop up. So which element should be pop up in the case? The 3 should come out. Let us see. We know E is empty, is false here. So because of it is false, it will not return any exception. Rather, we go to the remaining statement. So the remaining statements in which what we did, to the temporary variable, whatever s of top is there, that value we assigned. So what is top here right now? 0, 1, 2. Index prakaramu, top is holding 2 here. So s of 2, whatever that is fetched, that we are storing it in E. So the fetched value is 3, that is stored in E. Then what we do, at the S of tooth location, we store null. So that means now the fresh stack looks like this. 7 you will have here, 4 will have here, but here we have null. Other way we can say like this. This is what the mix size array to explain. This is 4, this is 7, and here we stored null because we pushed we deleted the elements. After deleting, we store null. And then after that, the top we decrement by 1. Top is equal to top minus 1. So currently top is 2. So the top now will become top minus 1. That is 2 minus 1 will become 1. So thus now top moves to this location. It was here previously. Now, okay, it got down by 1 step. Then after that, we return the value E. So what is E value that we have 3? So we return simply the value 3 to the caller. So this is what about the operations which I explained it here in the pop. So can anybody tell me what is the complexity? Fast. Minimum and maximum.
Order of 1.
What are the minimum number? Okay, overall order of 1. Fine, all of you. Again, here also in the pop operation, nowhere we are using any array and all that. And it is independent of the size of the array. That means there is no parameters we are passing to pop. Observe that. Pop method is not taking any parameter. And this method is not at all depends on the size of the array and all. So, thus we can say that complexity of this pop method is big O of 1. But I want that minimum primitive and maximum primitive operations, which it takes actually. We calculated for push, na? I'm asking you to calculate. Minimum, how many steps it takes?
Minimum is 2, sir.
2, very good. Why 2? Because isEmpty is again a method, and method call will take 1, and return if it is true. If isEmpty is true, then we return empty stack label. So return statement is 1. So thus, minimum number of primitive operations it takes is 2. Then tell me what are the maximum number of primitive operations that it takes?
8.
8. Any other answers, Amma? I didn't calculate. Yes, Amma. Any other answers? I didn't calculate. I have to see that whether it is 8 or not. So what we'll do again, isEmpty is a function call. So it is 1. It is equal to 1 primitive operation. And assume that it is false. If it is false, then only the remaining 1, 2, 3, 4 statements will be executed. So till now we got 1 primitive operation. And because of it is false, we will go to the next statement called E assigned with S of t. So S of t is array indexing when primitive. And what are the fetched value is there that we assign to E. So assignment and array indexing, 2 primitive. So till now we got 3 total. Then again we go to the next statement where we assign null to S of t location. So again array indexing S of t is 1 primitive operation, and there after fetching that location address we store null in that address. So assignment is 1 more. So again here also we have 2. So total 5 till now. Then t is equal to t minus 1. In this also we have 2 primitive operations, because t minus 1 is a subtraction operation, and what are the resultant is there that we are assigning to t is assignment operator. So 2 primitive operations we have. So total 5 till now, 5 plus 2 now. How many are Amma? 5 plus 2, 7. And then lastly we return the deleted or popped element which is there in E, the element E. So return E is 1 primitive. So total how many? 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6. Return and isEmpty 2. So total 8 primitive. So maximum 8 primitive operations, minimum 2 primitive operations. So but anyhow, again it's a constant, nowhere we have n related information. So therefore the running time of this algorithm is also big O of 1. And logical or graphically we can see what is pop operation, how it actually performs. So top is pointing to 12, and pop when you are calling, it blindly returns the top element. Amma, we cannot delete middle element or bottom element and all that. Randomly ఏదో delete చేద్దామంటే కుదరదు. It is a stack where always it deletes the top element. So therefore, that's why we won't pass any arguments to the pop method. అసలు పాప్ మెథడ్ కి ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్స్ పంపించాల్సిన పని లేదు, ఎందుకంటే it always deletes the top element. So top element is right now 12, that will be popped. After popping, we decrement the top pointer by 1. So it was pointing to 12. Now 12 location 12 is null now. So top will reduce by 1. So it will point to 90. So like this, it will continue. And once again, if you try to delete, then the 93 is the one which will be popped, and top will be decremented to 23. That is 0th element, 0th index. Then once again, if I third time call the pop method, it pops the 23, the element 23, and top will be decremented by 1. So top right now it is 0. When it is decremented by 1, it will become -1. But -1, when top reaches to -1, it is nothing but it is the information where we state that the stack is empty. And fourth time, in case suppose after reaching top to -1, by mistake, in case if you call once again the pop method, at this time it always returns a message stating that stack is empty because top is pointing to -1. So this is what the case of multiple pop operations can be performed. And here is the last slide. After this discussion of the slide, I will stop. So additional methods. I told you that there are 3 additional methods are there. One is size. The other one is what, sir? Is empty method. Third one is top. So let us see what is size method. It's a single line method. Return t plus 1. So that return single statement itself is the implementation of what, sir? Size. And you know, I already told you that size method always returns the number of elements in the stack. So suppose if the stack is this one having 3, 4, 5, and 6 here. There are 6 elements here. And you know, index is 0, 1, 2, 3. So top is pointing here, Amma. So that means top is holding 3, index 3. And the method size, what I defined here is return t plus 1 or top plus 1. So what is top here? Top is 3 plus 1, nothing but 4. So we get a return value called 4. And you know, clearly observe this stack here. It is really having 4 elements, 6, 5, 4, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4 elements are there. So this is what that single line statement to implement the size method. And the complexity of this method is also what's a big O of 1 because it takes 1 line statement. And running time is of course 2 here because t plus 1 arithmetic operation has to be performed, and once if t plus 1 is calculated, the resultant value has to be returned, which is one more primitive. So there are 2 primitive operations involved here in this size method, and the running time is big O of 1. Then is empty. So I told you that a stack is set to be empty if top is pointing to -1 or if t is pointing to -1. So let me rewrite this one because from the beginning we are using t only. So here also I'm using t. I'm coming back here. So if t is -1, if t is holding -1, then it returns true because that is the indication of emptiness of the stack. Otherwise, it returns false. So again, here also it is a big O of 1 operation only. That is constant time operation only that we are performing. And come to the last one, top element. Top element always returns the top pointer element. It means wherever the top pointer is pointing, that element related be actually written. So I think it's here. If you are expecting position, then t is enough. Or otherwise, if you are expecting the element to be returned, means s of t has to be returned. So it's up to us to understand. But top, what I defined, let us see. Based on that, we can say what actually I'm going to make here. Return the top object of the stack here. Object. So that means not the location. Rather, we are expecting object means this should be here s of t, Amma. This should be s of t. So it returns the teeth location related value. So this is what about the top. And here also the top method takes big of one operation. Okay, that means running time. So these are the additional operations. This is the end of the discussion related to the data structure called stack amma. But be alert amma, though it is very simple and having very less number of what's primitive operations, and all operations are constant time operations. Running time of each and every operation is constant time. So it is very simple. We all know that how to perform. But about this implementing, about the applications and other things related to the stack, we'll see a lot of funny things, a lot of interesting questions we'll find about the stack. Not funny, interesting things we'll come to know about the stacks. Okay, Amma, I'm stopping it here. We'll continue in the next class. Okay, happy weekend, all of you. Okay, study well. Okay, all of you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Amma. Is she present? Chandrika madam, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, I'm concluding, madam.
Yes,
We'll
sir.
continue next class. Thank you,
Yes,
madam.
sir. Thank you.